Hello students, I am Barge Sangeeta, Assistant Professor. It is said that mathematics is queen of all sciences. So, mathematics has various applications in various fields. Therefore, mathematics has so many branches. So, one of the very important branch is algebra. And today, I am going to introduce you the very interesting topic that is groups from algebra. So, students, before going towards our concept group, we have to understand some other concepts. So, let us see first the Cartesian product. What is the definition of Cartesian product? So, it is defined as let A and B be two sets, then Cartesian product of A and B is defined as set of all ordered pairs such that X belongs to A and Y belongs to B. That means this is a product of two sets, and in this Cartesian product there are pairs, not a single element like X, Y or other. This is a set of pairs, and how these pairs are: each first element in this pair belongs to first set A, and second element in this pair belongs to second element B. So here order of this pair is very important. Likewise, when we represent any number on graph, its first number represents x coordinate and second number represents y coordinate. Therefore, any point representing coordinates xy is not equal to the point representing coordinates yx. So there also order of that pair, elements in that pair is very important. Similarly, here in this Cartesian product there are pairs, and order of each element in that pair is very important. Now, symbolically, how we can write Cartesian product of two sets A and B? So, it is written as A cross B is equal to set of all pairs xy such that x belongs to A and y belongs to B. So, this is our definition of Cartesian product. Now, there are two sets, domain set and codomain set. There are two sets A and B. If set A contains m elements and if set B contains n elements, then the total number of elements in the Cartesian product A cross B are nothing but m into n, because every element in set A make a pair with every element in set B, and therefore number of elements in this set will be the product of number of elements in set A and number of elements in set B. Now let us see binary operation. So what is the definition of binary operation? Let S be a non-empty set. A binary operation star on the set S is defined to be a function from S cross S to S. So, here this binary operation, what is the word binary represents? So, bi means 2. And therefore, this operation is operated upon the two elements and therefore it is called as binary. But when we call as binary, so it is a function. Now, the domain of this function is nothing but cross product of the set which we have taken. That means here set S cross product is taken on S and S itself, not A and B different sets. So the domain set of this function is nothing but set S cross S, and the codomain set of this function is again a set S. That means here in the domain set there are pairs, and in each pair first element belongs to set S and another element also belongs to set S. And here in codomain, here is a value of star function when we operate on it on any pair. So the elements in this codomain S are nothing but elements of set S. So this star is a function, that means every element in this cross product has a unique image in that set S. So when star is a binary operation on S, we say that S is closed under the binary operation star. And the condition for that is if A and B are two elements from the set S, then the star product of these two elements must belongs to that set S again. So this is a condition for any operation to be as a binary operation. Now if we take the set of real numbers, then for real numbers, addition, subtraction, multiplication and division all are the binary operations, because in binary operation the domain set will be the set of pairs such that both the elements in the pair are the real numbers. And therefore, if we take any two real numbers and if we take addition, then addition of any two real numbers is again a real number which belongs to set R of real numbers. And therefore, addition is a binary operation. Similarly, subtraction. If we take any two elements, that is any two real numbers, then the subtraction of the two real numbers gives us again a real number which belongs to set R of real numbers. Similarly, for multiplication and division, and therefore these operations are binary operations on the set of real numbers. Now again, let us consider the set of natural numbers. What happens in set of natural numbers? If we take two numbers a and b from the set of natural numbers, and if we take the addition of two natural numbers, then it gives us again a natural number. Similarly, if we take two natural numbers and if we take product of the two natural numbers, it gives again a natural number. and therefore addition and multiplication are binary operations on n. Now what happens for subtraction? Let us take example as 1 and 2. If we subtract 2 from 1, it gives a -1, and -1 does not belongs to this set of natural numbers. That means if a number which we subtract is greater than the first number, then the subtraction will be negative, and the negative number does not belongs to this set of natural numbers, and therefore subtraction is not a binary operation on this set of natural numbers. Now what happens in case of division? If we take division which gives us a fractional number, and that fractional number is not in this set of natural numbers, and therefore when we get division fractional number, it does not belongs to this set of natural numbers, and therefore subtraction and division are not binary operations on the set of natural numbers. Now let us see some important axioms. First, if G is a non-empty set with a binary operation star defined on it, then consider the axioms. First, G1, this is called as closure property. So what is closure property? This we know because this is very essential for that star as a binary operation. So this is what is closure property. So if A belongs to G, B belongs to G, this implies that A star B also belongs to G. This is a closure property. Now second, we denote it as G2, and it is called as associativity property. So what is this associativity property? So A star in bracket B star C is equal to A star B in bracket star C. This is for all A, B, C belongs to G. What is meaning of this property? This is nothing but here we are taken three numbers A, B and C, and on LHS here is a star operation taken on these last two numbers, first the last two elements first, and then the star operation again on this first element and this element. The value of this is equal similar as written on LHS. What is LHS? In LHS, the star operation first taken on the first two elements and then with the third element. So order of two operations is changed here. LHS, it is with last two elements, and on RHS it is first two elements. But value does not change. If this condition is satisfied, then we so say that this associativity property is satisfied. Now next is G3. It is called as existence of identity element. So what is this property? There exists E belongs to G such that E star A is equal to A star E for all A belongs to G. That means there exists an element in that set G such that when we take operation of that element E with any element of G or every element of G, then it gives us the original number A. This is E star A is equal to A star E is equal to A. So when that element operated upon every element of the set A, it gives the original element A, and that element E is said to be an identity element for that group G. So every group with respect to its star operation, it has an identity element, and that identity element is a unique element. Now next is G4, existence of inverse. What is this existence of inverse? So for all elements A belongs to G, if there exists A inverse belongs to G such that A inverse star A gives identity element E, and also A star A inverse gives identity element E. That means the order of the star operation with this A inverse can be changed, and it gives us the identity element E. So if this condition is satisfied, then that element A inverse is called as inverse of element A. So this is for each element A. If G is a group, if G is a set such that every element satisfies this condition, then every element has inverse and it is unique for that element. Now next is commutativity. So what is mean by commutativity? The commutativity property is nothing but the order of operation of any two elements. If we change, then the value does not change. So see here, A cross B is equal to B cross A for all A and B belongs to G. That means if we take star product of any two elements and if we change their order, we get the same value, and this is called as commutativity. Now let us see the important definition of group. So what is the definition of group? The pair G star is called a group if it satisfies four axioms G1, G2, G3 and G4. That means out of five axioms, if the first four axioms are satisfied, then we say that that set with that operation star is a group. So now next definition is a semi-group. So what is a semi-group? A pair G star is said to be semi-group if it satisfies two axioms G1 and G2. So out of five axioms, if first two axioms G1 and G2 are satisfied by that set with that binary operation star, then that set is said to be semi-group. So if we take set of natural numbers, then the natural numbers set is a semi-group but not a monoid. What is monoid? We will see, but it is a not semi-group. Sorry, it is a semi-group. How? Because first property, closure property, we have seen this example previous. So closure property and associative property are satisfied by the set of natural numbers, and hence it is a semi-group. But not monoid. What is mean by monoid? So definition of monoid is a pair G star is said to be monoid if it satisfies three axioms G1, G2 and G3. That means out of five axioms, If first three axioms are satisfied by that set with that operation, then that set is said to be monoid. So if we consider the set of integers, then it is the set of integers, that is which includes 0, that means it is a set of non-negative integers, then it is a monoid but not a group. How? See, the first condition of closure property, that means if A belongs to Z, B belongs to Z, that means if A and B are two integers, non-negative integers, then their addition also a non-negative integer which belongs to set Z, and therefore first property, closure property, is satisfied. Now second, associative property. So here we have taken three elements A, B, C, and our binary operation is addition. Therefore, LHS of associative property is written here and RHS of associative property is written here. So, the value of this LHS is equal to the value of RHS. We know this, and therefore associative property is satisfied. Now third, what is third? G3? It is about identity element. So, is there any element which is operated on, that is when we add it with every element it gives original element, so that element is nothing but this 0, because a plus 0 is equal to a is equal to 0 plus a. That means when we add this 0 with every element it gives the original element a, and therefore the identity element for this set Z is nothing but 0 which exists, and therefore this Z satisfies all these three axioms. Now what about fourth axiom? Fourth axiom is for inverse. So what is the inverse? Inverse is nothing but when we operate it on any element, each element, when it operates on that element it gives us identity element. So if we take any integer, then we must have for each element the another element such that after addition it will give us a identity element, that is a 0. So we know that that element is nothing but additive inverse is nothing but opposite sign element. So if we take 1, then there is a number minus 1 such that when we add plus 1 and minus 1 it gives identity element 0. But this minus 1 does not belongs to this set Z. So if we take any integer from this, then to get addition identity element 0, we have to take the negative number of that number, and that negative number does not belongs to this set Z, and therefore each number in this set has not additive inverse, and therefore this fourth property is not satisfied by this set Z. Therefore, this Z is not a group, but these three properties are satisfied by Z, and therefore Z is a monoid. So we have learned about some concepts which are necessary for our concept group, and now we are learn about details again properties of these groups in second lecture. So thank you.